In this video we're going to talk about section 1.4. This is your My Math Lab assignment number 4. This is a continuation of 1.4, by the way. We're going to talk about two special kinds of lines, parallel lines and perpendicular lines. The main thing I want you to remember is that parallel lines have equal slope. Think about these lines. They're like railroad tracks. They never get any farther apart, never get any closer together, so the slope of one line would be the very same slope or steepness of the other line. Perpendicular lines have slopes which are opposite inverses. I tend to use here the word reciprocal because I think you're going to remember that a little better. Opposite meaning to change the sign, reciprocal meaning to invert the fraction. Let's look at these problems in number 7. Determine whether the following are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Now remember, we're looking at slope. In the first problem, it's already in slope-intercept form, so the slope is -3. In the second one, the slope is -1/3. Now 3 and 1/3 are reciprocals, but they have the same sign. So they're not identical and they're not opposite reciprocals. So these are neither. Remember, they either have to have the very same slope or different signs and reciprocal slopes. In this one, they're in the right form, so the slope of the first one is 3/2. Now in the second one, remember, slope is in front of x, so that's 1.5, which is 1.5, which is 3/2. Now if you notice, this slope and this slope are identical, the very same, so these lines would be parallel if we graph them. Now in problem C, we're going to have to do a little work because we've got to put these in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to try to write small and get this in. In the top equation, remember I'm solving for y, so move the 2x, divide by -5, and I have y equals negative into negative is positive, 2/5 x plus 3/5. And the second one, we'll solve for y, move the x, divide by 2, now I have a slope of 2/5, and I have a slope of -5/2. One's positive, one's negative, one's 5/2, the other one's 2/5. They are perpendicular. And these, I think a little observation is what we need here. Remember, if you have an x equal or a y equal equation, then one is vertical and one is horizontal. So if I have an x equal 3, if you remember, that one is going to be a vertical line, and if I have a y equals 2, that one's going to be a horizontal line. Now if you notice, these lines would be perpendicular to each other. Anytime you have an x and a y line, they're going to be perpendicular. In E, y equals 7, remember y equal is horizontal, y equals 5, that's horizontal. If they have the same letter, they're going to be parallel. X equal -2, those are those are going to be perpendicular. X equal 4, that's going to be perpendicular. Those lines are parallel. Same letter, parallel. Opposite letter, perpendicular. And remember, you're looking for slopes. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have slopes with different signs and reciprocal numbers.